So, okay, somebody's found their niche.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you find an expert? How do you get going to that next step?
Yeah. Well, finding an expert is actually probably the funnest part. It's kind of like a casting call. You get to be the casting director. You get to audition the experts. And there are similar ways, actually, believe it or not. You can use social media. You can see, the fan pages on Facebook. Very often, in most cases, the experts are experts at what they're experts at. They're not experts at marketing, which is an incredible opportunity for producers like people like me and people like hopefully you'll become, because you can approach an expert and you can say, hey, would you be interested in going into business? I want to help market you. I want to help sell more of what you're already selling. And they're very open to it, because who doesn't want to make more money, right? They're already doing their thing, and you can just help them do their thing better, which is what I love about being what I call a producer, an internet and online producer. So, for example, Facebook fan pages are a great way. Another way is, again, other social media like YouTube. There are experts who have YouTube channels, but they're not monetizing them. That's another way to do it. And believe it or not, ClickBank is another great way to do it, because, like anything, it's like the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of the people are making 80% of the sales. So that's very true in ClickBank as well. So ClickBank has thousands and thousands, probably tens of thousands of products. I don't know the number, it's probably 10, 20, 30, 50,000. Actually, do you have any idea yourself how many products are on ClickBank?
Between iterations of products, there's actually over 1 million iterations and changes in products, but in terms of like actual products on their end, I think it's a little over 10,000 products.
10,000, okay. But how many of them are really making sales? About 500, 1,000, 2,000? I don't know, but the point is that it's very easy to go and look at the marketplace. And if you find a market that you're interested in, you can actually approach a product owner, someone who's developed a product that isn't currently selling any, or maybe just a little bit, and you can strike a deal with that expert and say, hey, let me take what you've got. What deal you're going to strike is depending upon what you want to do, and I'll talk about that later, but you can actually acquire that content, and then you can rebrand it, and you can go do your thing and bring it to the top of ClickBank again. So I've actually done that, and it's very effective. So that's just one other way of finding experts, besides social media, but you can actually find them on ClickBank as well, which I've personally done, and I can tell you it works, and it works great.
So Anthony, can you give me an example of where you found a product and you found an expert that was not doing anything with their product, and you took it and made it make money for them?
Yeah. So one of my main businesses right now is in the prepper and survival niche, which is, kind of a fun niche because people are very passionate about that. The survivalists and the preppers, the bunker people, which is the extreme of that, of course. But I wanted to enter that market because I actually saw a whole bunch of people on ClickBank. I knew it was a profitable market. I had heard some chatter in the industry about people who were doing well with it. So I decided to enter that market. It wasn't very long ago that I got into that, just a few years ago. And I decided I needed an expert. I'm certainly not a survival expert. So what I did is I went out and used one of my resources. Actually, I have an entire Rolodex of resources where I find experts, and not going to get into all that now, but definitely that's laid out for you in the advanced training. And I found an expert, and I do something called a test task, where I got a few different experts to write me the same kind of an article, the same type of information, and I could immediately tell who's the best at that, right? Same thing for voiceovers, by the way. If you're ever doing a video sales letter and you want a voiceover professional, it's really, really cool because you actually get these auditions for free. And I once had over 100 people read for a VSL that I was doing, and they just read the first paragraph, and it's actually really funny and interesting to hear 100 iterations of different people reading the same paragraph that I had written. So it was interesting. So the casting part is actually fun, for voices, for experts. So I put out this test task. I can't think of the topic right now, I remember what it was, but I had a few different experts audition to write me, 3 or 4 page article. And it was very obvious who the best one was, who was by far the most knowledgeable. And then I hired that expert to write a book. In my case, that book was called, in this case, it was called Alive After Crisis. And it was all about disaster preparedness, earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, what happens if this happens. So we published a book on that. And it's amazing because I paid the expert, I can't remember what it was now, it was a few hundred, maybe $500-600 to write the book. And I've now sold close to 100,000 copies of that book. And that actually led into a full-blown business, which now has continuity. It has different upsells and downsells. So literally, I paid somebody once to write something, create something once. I own the rights to it, and that's generated now millions and millions of dollars. It's led into a business that generates millions of dollars. All on a business that I know nothing about, because I knew how to do a basic test task, had some resources, knew how to find the expert, chose the right expert, and built a business around that expert with content that I own completely. So I get to keep all that revenue. I don't have to pay it out to him.